This is what we have so far for divisions. In the morning with the GUP competition, we will start with, we don't have a lot of beginners this time, and is a big reason for, I think, a smaller turnout. We'll start with these groups. Ring number 4. Here are the judges. So when I look at rings, everybody look for where you are. For the morning, the GUP rings are going to be 4. And here are the assignments with timekeepers and scorekeepers. Okay, did everyone find themselves on this list?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now then you can look at the different rings to see who you'll be judging. So we have here ring 4. And ring 4 will manage the white, yellow, and orange belts, 10 and 11-year-olds. We don't have any really young. Oh, we've got some 6s in the other one. So this is this group. And then this one I did by age rather than rank. I just didn't know how else to do this. We may look to do, I don't know, there's Henry and Everly, but I kind of wanted them to have some experience with some other people because they always spar each other. So that's the division there, that group. Then ring 3.
Sir, would you have, going back to that group, that 5-person group, would Hyung be a different group than sparring? Would you split
probably
Hyung?
that maybe you split him for Hyung and then you come and then sparring.
Yes, sir.
Can you make note of that? And Hoyt, can you, maybe I'll leave that up to Hoyt to clean some of this up. Okay. Then ring 3. We've got this group here, 9 and 10-year-old red belts, and then 12-year-old red belts. So we only have 2 kid divisions here for white, yellow, orange, and green belt. Usually we have multiple groups, but my school is pretty top heavy, and we just didn't. Usually the lower ranks come from my school. Then ring 2. Oh, sorry, we didn't finish. So ring 3, 9 to 10-year-old red belts, and then 12-year-old red belts are together here. So notice here we've got Chase Brown, we've got Ryder Solomon. Trinity was up here with the other ones here. Petra is Michaela's daughter, very petite, sweet, shy girl. And then Nathan Lynn, also, he's a male, but he's smaller in stature. And if I remember right, I think that'll be a good fit for Trinity as well. That sound right? Okay. So I think those 3 are going to enjoy competing with each other. Charlie and Sam are complete opposites. Chase Brown and Ryder Solomon. Passive or aggressive? What would instructors say?
I'd say Chase is probably, he can be aggressive at times, sir, but he's also passive.
Bring it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. What about Ryder?
I would say Ryder is more aggressive.
Okay, so they'll do well then. They'll enjoy sparring with Sam. Sam's a go-getter. And it'll be a good opportunity for Charlie to step it up a little. So that's great. Ring 2, we've got, looks like that's all my group. And then we have the adult women. So we've got Megan on the call. Okay, and there's Nicole. And then Stephanie Fitz from Oregon, Moo Duk Kwan from Portland. So you 3 will be a division. Then here we have you, Megan and Stephanie again. Caitlin Lauser is a 16-year-old young lady. She's an orange belt. She's very, I don't know, how would you describe it? She's very timid, can be very anxious in stressful situations, but she would like to try competition, but I want to do it for her in a non-competitive environment. So similar to what we do with the adult men with Skylar, who's my 23-year-old with Down syndrome, we're going to kind of do the same thing with Caitlin, where Megan, if you're okay, have you spar with Caitlin once, have Stephanie spar with Caitlin once, and the scores can be whatever they want, but then Caitlin will be awarded gold for her division.
Yes, sir.
And Megan, basically what you do, you spar like you would in class. If you see that she's being more aggressive than you expected, then you can turn up the energy and then turn it down if you see her, just the end game is to give her a good positive experience.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So it sounds like you're comfortable with that, Megan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then we have one Dawn division. It's the youngest group here. It's the 12 to 13-year-olds. We've got Olivia, Liliana, Christopher, Persinger, Jet, and Everett. I really like this division. Look at everyone's going to be sparring somebody different from a different school. Very excited for this one. And then Eli, you'll be here in the 14 to 16-year-old division with Ethan from Sawtooth Martial Arts and Zach Persinger from Oregon Moo Duk Kwan. You probably know Zach from previous events. All of the morning events will be Hyung and point sparring. Breaking will be in the afternoon and Mudo sparring will be in the afternoon. All color belts will only do point sparring, not Mudo sparring. So these two divisions with the youngest Dawn members, they will do Mudo sparring immediately after lunch. So ring one continues with these same individuals after lunch for Mudo sparring. Then we switch judges. So ring one and ring two are the Dawn rings here, with Kenyon Savanim and myself centering those two rings. So this time, Dons, you're going to have I know last year there were some concerns about the quality of judges. I don't know what you'll think about this year, but it's the best I can possibly do at this point, because here you have Damon Kenyon Savanim, who's an 8th Dan, and he's over all of the technical advisory committee for the United States and supervises throughout the world. And then you've got myself, who I'm very seasoned and a member of the technical advisory committee as well. So you all should have very, very good judges this time around, for sure.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is the difference between Mudo sparring and point sparring?
Come to the Friday class at 6 p.m. and you'll get a really good answer. But for now, the Mudo sparring is only available to Moo Duk Kwan members.
Okay, so Jet won't be doing that.
Correct. He'll
Okay.
just do point sparring.
Thank you,
And
sir.
what I want to do, Nicole, is introduce Mudo sparring to all of you on Friday. You're going to watch the competition this year. And I want to work with your group so that you can compete in Mudo sparring next year, if you'd like to come back to the tournament. You'll enjoy it. Mudo sparring, really, you notice when you spar in class every day is different than you would spar at a tournament.
Mhm.
For one, no one says stop every time there's a point. Mudo sparring is more like you would spar every day in class. So it's 5 20-second rounds and no one stops the match. And then there's a call for who won the round.
Okay.
And then how do you determine who won the round? That's the minutia that we got to talk about. And your students would need to have some time to understand that, practice it, so that they've got a fair chance at the competition.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think everyone that's been introduced to it really enjoys the Mudo sparring. In fact, my Dons only wanted to do Mudo sparring this year. They're going to do point sparring, but that was their preference. So Mudo sparring in the morning, then first group, and then the rest of them are going to do all three events: forms, point sparring, Mudo sparring. Here's ring 2. Okay, this is and then we've got the adult women division here. So Destiny, welcome to adulthood. You were over here in the other group last year. Okay, and then in ring 1, you've got the men with Kenyan Sabanim. Okay, so we've got here another group here. And then we have this again for Skylar and John Simmons. John Simmons is an orange belt, and the only men that's competing are very experienced Dons, not even like brand new Dons. If you look at this list, everyone here is extremely experienced. And the only Chodan here is Mr. Armstrong, who, don't be fooled, he's got a ton of experience besides this Chodan. So we're asking kind of the same thing, where Skylar and John will both be sparring 2 of our Dons of similar age with them. Kielsen and Pace, we decided what we're doing with these 6?
I think, well, we have to reset that because Gassman Kjolsanem is no longer competing.
Oh, right.
So
Right,
we might be able to just condense it into 1, although that gives Mr. Armstrong a disadvantage since he would be the only Chodan.
Oh, I'm not worried. Oh, for Kyung, maybe.
And then Tanner is the only young one there, so we might need to move Tanner up into the I don't know, 14 to 16-year-old grouping. I don't know if you want to, if he needs an opportunity to spar with a younger crew.
No, because his best opportunity there would be actually Brad Solomon.
Yes, sir.
That
I don't know if we do it. Maybe we just put Mr. Solomon and Mr. Irvin and then move Mr. Persinger.
We'll try and figure that out. Nicole, maybe you can ask Mr. Solomon if he'd like to do more sparring, or yeah, you see the list here. Let me know what he's thinking there. I kind of think we just pull this group all together and just have an adult 18 and over sparring division for this one. And with the point sparring and the Mudo sparring, actually, youthfulness is not always a benefit in Mudo sparring. Sometimes maturity and having that wisdom of experience will make you do better in Mudo sparring, and is a detriment to the younger group.
Sir, my 2 cents would be to be in a ring with 3 people.
Would be what?
To pull them together. It's no fun to be in a ring with 3 people.
That's yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too. All right, so those are some of the thoughts that we've got there. Questions with the divisions and studio owners, any concerns? Okay, good. Breaking, we're still doing breaking. Breaking will be only in the afternoon, and we'll have 2 rings for breaking. And we'll start with the kids and work our way up and get that done. It should go very, very quickly. but breaking will just be done in the afternoon. Yes, Corrales Jokio, we've got Skylar and John Simmons who will be sparring 2 Dawn members for their competition. Okay, so at this point, let's set up a breakout room and let's see. What did I do? Try that again. Breakout rooms. Sorry, I just ruined it.
When I do this, I'm going to try and drop on my phone and see if I can get it to just use my computer. Sorry.
Sir,
So who, yes.
B is gonna join on a separate Zoom call. That way she can go in the
Okay.
scorekeeper one.
Great. So our scorekeepers, I've got Megan and Nicole, and who else? B when she comes. Is it just those 2?
Amy Burrows, sir.
Amy, where are you, Amy? Of course. Oh, there you are. Okay. Anyone else? Okay,
Yes.
I'll open that room. Destiny, are you a scorekeeper, timekeeper, or are you a judge?
I'm a timekeeper, sir.
Okay, so we got to add you on that. Destiny, you'll need to do a separate. Oh, you are separate. Okay. And we have B. Okay. So I'm going to open that room and all of the judges just stay here. All right. Each ring this year has 3 judges instead of 5. Starting with young competition, we will just add the
Art,
3.
Did you assign me into the other room?
No, I didn't.
Sorry. Figure I'd need to be there.
There you go.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep. All right, so Hyung, 3 judges. So we're not going to remove the high and the low score like we do with 5. It's just 3 judges, you add the total, and that's your total score. You will, if there's a tie, you do another Hyung. Now, some of them are new Chodons that only know 1 form. That's their level. They can choose to do a lower level form. If they want to do Basai, which is a red belt form, let them do that. If they want to do Jindo one more time, I say for this tournament, just let them do that. That's the rules. We'll say that, but we're not going to check to see did they pick another form or not. Just judge them on their second form. And then if there's still a tie, then you'll perform the Hyung a 3rd time and then you'll vote. And that will break the tie. With 3 judges, and there's not that many competitors in a division. The biggest division, 1, 2, 3, 4, is 6. So there shouldn't be a tie. Don't score. If you have 3 people in a division, you wouldn't give the same person 2 people the same score. If you do that, then there's going to be ties. So the whole point of scoring is for you to determine who your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is. And so you need to be smart with how you do the scoring to determine who that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place person is. The first 2 will go up. So if there's only 3, you're going to have the first 2 go up at the same time. You'll know who's stronger. So you give that person a bigger score. Let's say for a gut member, give that a 7.5 is the median. So give them a 7.7 or a 7.8. And then give that second person, give it some buffer. So if it's a 7.7, give the next person a 7.5. Then if that third person is the best, you give them a 7.8. If that person is second, then you give them a 7.6. And if then that person is third, you give them a 7.4. Everyone see how that worked? So you want to do that in your head so that you're setting yourself up so that you can identify first, second, and third. What's going to be problematic is if you have, 4 competitors and 3 of them, you give them a 7.5, then there's going to be ties. So if we do a good job judging, there are no ties. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If they make a mistake, so this is a mistake where it's really obvious in the form pattern, recognizing that especially Solomon Karate might do the hyung differently. The trends, and Mr. Armstrong, you may do yours a little differently. We don't penalize for that. But if it's obvious that they made a mistake in the pattern of the form, then you would subtract 1/10 of a point from your score. So if I was to judge a 7.7 and they blank out and they have to restart the form, I'll give them now a 7.6. After you reduce the score by 1/10 of a point, you don't need to do it anymore. That's a substantial reduction when you times that by 3, and it's not going to be an issue. They're not going to get first place, likely. That would be very hard to do. Okay. Anything else with hyung? Anyone have questions on how to determine a good score versus a lesser score?
I have a question, sir.
Okay.
So, I don't remember if this happened last year, but are we gonna judge and score the first 2 competitors right away, or do we wait, and then we score them again?
You'll score the first 2 competitors.
Yes, sir.
Murray Sauernim?
That was my same question. If we wanted to have a calibration for the first time for those judges in a ring. Oops, I muted. No.
No, because all of the divisions are so small. The biggest division, like I said, are the junior dons, and by that time, it's only Kodansha that are judging.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I think all the Kodansha here are experienced enough that you can go in cold, look at a Chodan and say, yep, that's a 7.5. That blew me away. That's a 7.8. You've seen enough of that you just know. Okay. So now moving to point sparring. Point sparring will be 2 minutes. We will have 1 center ref and 2 corner judges. The corner judges this time will be standing instead of seated. You'll be in opposite corners, and you'll communicate to each other which way you can walk. So you'll be able to walk. We'll do this there, but you'll be able to walk the perimeter of the floor so that you have a good sight and you're better able to judge rather than being in a corner that gets no action and you're always, what we're trying to avoid is 3-person judges having to say no seat. We need all 3 judges to see every point, and to help make that happen, we're going to give you the ability to walk and move. But we need to figure out where you can walk so that you don't bump into a judge and you're both at the same corner. We'll communicate, I'm going to go this way, you're going to go the other way, so that we're always on opposite ends of each other as you're walking. And then the center ref will be in the middle. Same thing, red and blue flags. Okay, we'll go over this, but no C. A no C means you did not physically see what happened. In order to see that weapon, you have to see the weapon meet the target. If you don't have visual confirmation, you have to do this, no see. A no see means you don't vote. So if there's one no see, there's now 2 judges left, which means, and 2 no sees then means that there's no point. In order to make a point, you have to have confirmation and majority. That's all you have to know. So those of you that are going to be centers for the first time, you ask, is there confirmation? Is there majority? Confirmation means there has to be 2 votes. There has to be a vote and a supporting vote. So if you're down to only 1 vote with 2 no sees, you can't get confirmation. So by definition, there's no point. What is majority? What's the majority out of 3?
2.
2. What's the majority of 2? 2.
2.
Right? 1, no, that's 50-50. So if I say no see, and then red and blue, what's the score? No point. And so with 3, maybe it's easier than with 5. It's actually easier than with 5. With 5, it gets complicated with that. What about a no point when it's crossed low? No point means that there's 3 votes, but now out of the 3, if it's no point, red, that's confirmation. No, that's a point. That's a point. That's where the national rules, Hamer Sovereignim, are I've been advocating this now for a couple of years. They're not correct. They're not printed properly. The national rules say that a no point gets rid of a red and a blue point. I talked over this with Kenyan Sovereignim and finally got to the bottom of it. That's not what it means. What it means, no point is a vote. It says there's no point. So if 1 person votes no point and 2 people vote red, the reds have majority and the reds have confirmation. Because I vote no point, that's 1 vote, and two people say it's a point for red. So the majority vote red. And you have confirmation with 2 points. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, when
So
would you
then-
vote? When would you vote as a no point? Is it the same thing
I
as no
saw
see?
what happened and it hit their
Oh.
arm.
Okay,
I saw what happened and it was below the belt.
gotcha. And what's the symbol for that, or the hand gesture for that?
You'll cross the flags in front of you, but low.
Low. Yes,
No
sir.
point, no C.
Gotcha.
Good question.
Yes, sir.
No point, no C. Okay. Those, Kodanja, those are the official rules for nationals as well. Just think about, do I have confirmation and majority? So if we have 5, here's the hard one. If we have 5 judges, okay, I'm going to write this down in chat so that everyone can see this, and then let's vote on what it is. Okay, so 1 no C, 1 no point, 2 red, 1 blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5 votes. What's the score? Miss Edwards, why is 0?
I would say that 2 is not a majority of 5.
How
So
many
then I-
votes are there? First, let's say how many votes?
Yes, it's technically 3.
4 votes. The only way you can subtract a vote is with a no C. A no C means I'm not voting. That's what a no C means. So a no C, I'm not voting. So now you look at how many people have a call that's not a no C. There's 4 votes. So you take out the 4 no Cs. Now how many do I have to have in order to have a majority of 4. Correct. 3.
3.
So in order, if there's a no C, you need to have now 3 people that agree. So that 2 for red gives you confirmation, but there is no majority with 2 reds. Because half of the people said point for red, and then the other half said point for white or no point at all. So there is no majority vote. So if you're ever called for center, the only 2 questions you have to ask to determine a point is there a majority and is there confirmation? Questions?
Sir,
Yes.
it would be easier with only 3 judges. I mean, 1 referee and 2 judges. You're talking about 5, it's a little bit different.
5
And
is
now
much
only
harder,
3
yes.
Now
3
we have
piece of cake.
3 is much easier. It's like
Correct.
confirmation and majority is already 2. So you got
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so let's talk about contact. Let's call this tournament for what it is. It is a light contact tournament. Light contact is defined as touching the clothing or touching the side of the helmet. If there is any penetration into the skin, any rocking of the body or the head in any way, that must be called as a contact warning. Okay, because this is a light contact tournament. At our national festival, it's the same rules, but it's called a non-contact tournament. A non-contact means you cannot touch by definition. So there will be some light touching, but light means light. You do not have to touch in order to score a point. You have to come within reasonable distance. So if you're judging the small children, you'll notice that they start sparring and throwing techniques at a certain range. You need to respect the students' range, their comfort level with the range. Otherwise, what happens is they start getting closer and closer, and then an accident happens, you call contact. Well, you kind of created the contact situation by not calling the points before that. So in order to ensure that we don't escalate, figure out what that range looks like and start calling the points based on that range. For the small children, for the junior members. You would also do this for the adult gups. Dons are another story where, okay, you've now trained long enough where you should be able to meet the expectation, which would be coming a few inches from the target or touching the clothing or touching the helmet. So that's the range that you can play with. Spin kicks, if it comes across the face and there's no movement to evade that kick coming at the face, or no hand to block or anything, they just stand there, it comes across the face, that's a point. Over the head, same thing. Those are the 2 ways that spin kicks can score a point. Remember that there are 2 points that can be awarded in this competition, and we'll go over those in more detail at the tournament. Spin kicks, jump kicks, lateral defense, and counter strike are the 3 primary ways that you can score 2 points. Theoretically, you can score 3 points if you do a jump spinning kick where your entire body is above your partner's waist. So if any of you are capable of doing that, you could pull it off. Questions on contact and multiple points?
What about back kick, sir?
Dwi Porochagi would be considered a spin kick.
Oh, yes, sir.
So 2 points. Out of bounds, remember the 3-foot rule. I have to have 2 feet in the ring in order to score a point on my partner. My partner could still have 1 foot out of the ring for me to score a point. But if my partner is completely out of bounds, then no points can be awarded, and that's when the center ref would bring everyone back into the ring. So if I have any feet outside of the ring, I can't score a point. Kodanja, am I missing anything?
No, sir.
Okay.
Not that I can think of.
All right. 2-minute rounds. We're looking at possibly doing double elimination for the GUPs. We will have to do single elimination for the Dons because there's 2 competitions, point sparring and Mudo sparring. So we do single elimination for point sparring and then move to Mudo sparring, single elimination for Mudo sparring. We will cover all of the rules and that for Mudo sparring in the Friday night seminar. Board breaking competition will be like last year. You can wear any kind of sparring glove. If you'd like to use the foam glove, that seems to work the best. And the technique for all competitors will be a hammer fist, except for the youngest competitors. The youngest competitors, Michaela will instruct them to do a stomp kick on the boards. So the little 6-year-olds are going to stomp the boards and break that way. And they'll start with the whiteboard and work their way up. Everyone else, if you want a pad, good. If you don't need one, that's fine. And we'll start with white for the small kids. The teenagers will start with orange. And then the adults will start with green, which is a single full board. You'll come down on a hammer fist. If you don't break, it's one chance and you're out. So if you don't break, you're out. If you break, you move on to the next round with everyone else who broke, and then you go to the next level of board. Once you get to the end, both of the top competitors will break, and then no one will break the next board. If that happens, you go back to the easier board. And you just bounce back and forth until somebody makes a mistake. And then you're awarded first, second, and third based on that hammer fist strike with cinder blocks and all of that. Okay? Any questions on that competition? That one's pretty straightforward. Great. We wanted to keep this under an hour. So let's open it up. Mr. Armstrong, any final comments for tonight?
No, sir. I don't believe I have any.
Okay, Ms. Chasen.
No, sir.
Master Trin.
No, sir.
Master Bridget.
No, sir.
Hamer Sabanim.
All good, Corrales. I'm excited to be there.
It's going to be fun. Corrales Jokio.
No, sir.
Miss Edwards.
No, sir.
Okay. Murray Sabanim.
No, sir, all good.
Okay. Well, those of you that have to travel a ways, safe travels. And I look forward to seeing you all here sometime on Friday. Miss Edwards, I do hope that everyone from Solomon Karate will come and participate in the seminars as well on Friday and connect with us in that way. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right. Let's go ahead and bow out and we'll end.
Sure. Sure. Sabanim K Kenya.
Okay, 감사합니다.
Sabida.
Zavia.
Tangsu.
Suba.
All right. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Good night,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Good night.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.